Hey, how are you? It is Thursday, 25th day of June, 2020. I'm Dan Kuntz. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Thanks for starting your day with us. Going to be a hot one in the old town tonight. I think I just wrote a song. 94 is going to be our forecast high, right around there later on today. Kudos to the National Weather Service. They nailed yesterday's forecast right on the nose, the thing that's in the middle of your face. They were predicting a high of 90 yesterday. It hit 90 yesterday. But it was a very mild low. I mean, you remember if you were joining us 24 hours ago, we only got down to 68 degrees yesterday. Our normal overnight low is 57. Pretty mild right now. Clear skies, 64 degrees. Going to be a beautiful day today. Sunny, warm. Warmer still Friday. Transition happens Friday night into Saturday. Significant weather changes for most of next week. Fire risk is going to go up, no question about it, especially tomorrow afternoon. And especially for the Wenatchee Valley, we're expecting some strong winds as a cold front begins to enter our area. That'll be late Friday afternoon into Friday evening. So kind of a mixed bag over the weekend. Certainly considerably cooler, for those of you who don't like the hot weather. Forecast details are coming up. You probably have a pretty good idea of what our lead news story is. We'll take you to Chelan County Superior Court with yesterday's ruling from the offices of Judge Kristen Ferreira. Basically, the plaintiffs lost. We'll have the latest on that and some other COVID-related news and other non-COVID-related news. Sports, a rather troubled NFL receiver may be on the Seahawks' radar. We'll talk about that. We'll also have the obscure holiday, a brand new Mike Minotti opinion right out of the box. It's fresh. It's still warm. We have some celebrity birthdays to pass along to you. And today in history on this 25th day of June. Let's start our tour. I love our tour around the valley. In fact, this is probably the highlight of the whole show, and then everything kind of goes to hell in a handbasket after that. A couple of high clouds to the north of us as we take a look at the cross camera overlooking the Wenatchee Valley proper. Columbia River still running up there. It's pretty high. It doesn't really start going down much for a while yet. Beautiful view of the valley. Nicely done there from our cross camera. Sun's been up, got up at 5:05. The only difference between we're still going to have 15 hours, 57 minutes of daylight. We've had that for quite some time. Sunset hasn't really changed. Sunset's still going to be at 9:02, but the sunrise is just a little bit later in the day. 5:05 this morning is when the sun came up. So good morning to the valley proper. And from this point forward, of course, I don't know what we're going to look at. We find out together, and I'm thinking that's the Waterville camera, Megan. That's the Waterville camera, Megan. It's just called the Waterville camera. Looking down towards the Wenatchee Valley. All the snow is gone from Mission Ridge, which is probably good news for them because they're putting in a new ski lift that goes to the top of the mountain at nearly 7,000 feet. And it's probably easier to work when there's no snow, right? And there's a beautiful view of the Columbia River. That's a stunning view from our Waterville camera. Looking down on the mighty Columbia, you can even make out Rocky Reach Dam if you squint hard enough. Camera number 3. We say hello to the Manson Water Tower. Yay, Manson Water Tower. Manson and Wenatchee are going to be the only two municipalities here in North Central Washington that are going to put on fireworks shows. Manson and Wenatchee will both on Saturday, Independence Day, July 4th. We'll be doing fireworks shows. Of course, for Wenatchee's down at Walla Walla Point Park, the park will be closed to the public. In fact, we'll talk more about that on Monday. Kelly Kennedy from Impact Events, who's producing this year's fireworks spectacular on the Columbia River here in Wenatchee, will be joining me. But of course, there's going to be some changes. For one thing, you can't go down to the park and look at the fireworks. You'll have to look at them at someplace else. And of course, there's not going to be a whole bunch of festivities. The music will be canned instead of performed live at the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval, but the show must go on. Good morning, Lake Chelan. Good morning, Manson. Thanks for starting your day with us. And camera number 4 is Bill E. Goat. I love that view. Just love that view from Billy Goat Mountain, high above the Alta Lake area. Can't quite make out the golf course. It's down there somewhere. Somebody needs to go up there and take care of that spider web. Of course, we had a whole infestation of bugs on the Omi Gardens camera a couple of days ago. The sun continues to climb, and we say good morning to our friends in Pateros, Brewster, Bridgeport, Omak, Okanagan, Republic, and all those places to the north. It's too bad we can't really turn that camera a little bit more towards the Methow Valley. We can, but there's nothing to see. That's where the guy wires and the support tower is. It is what it is. It would have been a spectacular view. Maybe they can put up another camera up there to point towards the Methow Valley. Oops, I'm putting somebody on edge in the Sky-Fi department. Sorry, guys and gals in Sky-Fi. You don't have to. It's just a suggestion. We got 3 slides to show for you. The first one is the big one, the elevated fire risk, and we've talked about this yesterday. After all these warm temperatures that are drying out the grasses, in addition to that, of course, we had some wind yesterday. We're going to have that cold front that's going to come into the region Friday night into Saturday morning, so wind's going to be picking up through the Cascades ahead of the front on Friday afternoon and Friday evening, so breezy conditions for the Wenatchee area, the Wenatchee River Valley, the Waterville Plateau, and then the winds will continue to pick up in intensity out of the Columbia Basin, so the combination of breezy winds, warm temperatures, dry conditions, obviously any kind of grass fire that can get going could really get going. We'll keep a close eye on that, but we're, elevated fire risk, no question about it. It's summertime. We deal with this, of course, here in North Central Washington on a regular basis. It's going to be a cooler weekend. As we mentioned before, a cold front's going to start coming in on Friday afternoon into Friday night. So a cool weather system is going to linger over the weekend. Going to be breezy, maybe a stray raindrop or two, even an isolated thunderstorm. It's a possibility. And for the Wenatchee Valley, not only are we going to cloud up a little bit, and we're going to cool down a little bit, we're going to deal with more wind over the weekend than most of the rest of the area in our viewing area. And then we get cooler next week, starting on Sunday, and really goes at least into Tuesday, maybe even Wednesday. Significant weather changes expected. A very deep low pressure system. It's strong and it's unusually deep for that matter. Is going to drop into the North Central Washington area, and it's going to hang around for a while. So this is a little bit different from the slide we showed you yesterday. We have a much more significant chance of below normal temperatures and above normal precipitation. Yeah, they say this is one of the strangest low pressure systems they've seen quite some time this time of the year. So get ready for some significantly cooler weather next week, although it's all relative. The temperature is going to be about normal. But it's going to be, everything's relative because it's going to be so warm today and tomorrow. So that's your long-term outlook from the National Weather Service. Now let's look at the short-term outlook, your 7-day forecast from Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, who gives your home a hug. And once again, dry and warm today, high of right around 95 degrees, 67 for the overnight low tonight. No real wind to speak of today nor tonight. We had a little wind yesterday as that weak system came through, but that's already gone, Johnson. It's out of here. So hot today, hot tomorrow. The changes start happening late Friday afternoon. The wind will be picking up right around 5 or 6 o'clock in the afternoon here in the Wenatchee Valley. It's going to continue to pick up in intensity on Friday night. The clouds will be rolling in. 64 for the overnight low. Windy on Friday night, about 10 to 15 miles an hour. Gusts above 20 for the Wenatchee Valley. Saturday, big change. Look how much the temperature just drops. 15 degrees for the afternoon high. We're going to go from 96 to 81. That's a big drop. A lot of sunshine. That's not going to change. And it's going to be windy on Saturday. Saturday night, breezy, clear, 56 for the overnight low. Sunday is when we start seeing that big, deep trough of low pressure. Look at the temperatures change from 95 on Friday, and you just go ahead 48 hours to Sunday, and we're looking at a high of only 75 degrees, partly cloudy skies, chance of rain, maybe a late afternoon thunderstorm. On Sunday afternoon, overnight low 58. We go back to work on Monday with sunshine for the most part. Still rain, only 78 degrees. That's below normal. And then we warm up gradually Tuesday and Wednesday. Wednesday, by the way, next Wednesday is the first day of July. My, June is almost in our rearview mirror. Didn't we just have Memorial Day like last week? The days have all been blurring together, so that's your forecast. Again, the big story that we're keeping an eye on, the major weather changes is going to happen late Friday afternoon into Friday night. Big cool system comes in, breezy conditions, watch out for elevated fire risk, and then the temperatures just drop like a rock as in comes some significant cool air, windy conditions, cloudy skies, just in time for the weekend, right? 10 minutes after the hour, we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back with your news, and there is a lot of news. So grab your cup of coffee and come right back and see us. The news is 1 minute away. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
Hi, my name is Manuel Navarro, Chief Operating Officer at Columbia Valley Community Health. Patient safety is our top priority, including providing care that just can't wait. With enhanced safety precautions, we want to ensure you that we're able to continue providing safe and efficient in-person care at our clinic. From in-car check-in, ongoing screening, immediate rooming, your family can get the safe care that they deserve here at Columbia Valley Community Health.
You don't have to be a member to enjoy the view and dine-in style at Highlander Bar and Grill in East Wenatchee. Open 7 days a week, Highlander Grill offers breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Dine in or take it to go, our friendly staff is here to serve you. Reservations recommended for Friday night's prime rib dinner. Call for live music dates. Hi, I'm Shalane, site coordinator for Highlander Grill. Give me a call to schedule your event today.
11 minutes after the hour, quite a bit of sunshine, 64 degrees, 95 or so for our high today. Going to be hot again on Friday. The big change starts happening on Friday night. Cooler weather, breezy conditions coming up over the weekend with an elevated risk of wildfires. Here's what's making headlines. We begin this morning in Chelan County Superior Court. Judge Kristen Ferreira yesterday ruling against the plaintiffs in that lawsuit to overturn the state of emergency, the one imposed by Governor Jay Inslee to battle the COVID-19 pandemic. 46 plaintiffs, including restaurant owners, elected officials, pastors, and political operatives, said the governor has no authority to keep the state under strict public health orders, but Ferreira refused to issue a temporary restraining order that would have terminated the governor's orders. It also would have put full responsibility for the coronavirus response on local health officials. And at one point, Ferreira told the plaintiff's attorney, Joel R., it's not clear that local officials could handle the pandemic by themselves.
The State Department of Health approves each and every one of these plans. They've worked with the local health departments for 14 years. These plans were approved, some of them as recently as last fall. I'm not sure when the last time Chelan Douglas counties was, but county health plans were approved as recently as November of 2019. So all of a sudden, the governor has said, we've spent years doing this. My own Department of Health has reviewed and approved these plans routinely over the last 8 years, but come the event, wow, we're not actually going to follow that law and follow those plans.
That's not my question, though. My question is, can they actually do it? And from the record, it appears that the health district, these people who, some of the officers of the health district don't think they can. And that's my concern is you're asking me to impose a restraining order, lifting the restrictions, which I still don't understand what it is that, if I were to lift those restrictions today, what would that look like? Would we be tomorrow, everything's opened back up like there's no COVID? Or will it, because there aren't restrictions that are in place, or the health district has even said will be in place if the court lifts this. So if the court lifted the restrictions and the health district came in, can they even implement this plan? I mean, realistically, I know you say that the state thought they could, but realistically today, I don't see anything in the record that the health district actually thinks they can implement anything in this plan. And we're talking about public education, surveillance, community containment measures, medication and vaccine management. There's a lot in here. I don't know how many employees the health district has, but it seems to the court, based on the information that's in the record, that the health district has been struggling with the resources they have right now, even with the assistance of the state in addressing the pandemic.
Deputy Attorney General Zachary Peakless-Jones replied that the plaintiffs had no grounds to challenge the governor's emergency powers, even though restraints on businesses and gathering places may have, in fact, affected their livelihoods.
So for plaintiffs in this case, the reopening process is not going quickly enough. And economic challenges they face and the fears of the future for their businesses and their families, those are real. And nothing that we say here today should ever be taken to undercut or undersell the reality of those costs. But what they're seeking here today, Your Honor, is a temporary restraining order, a form of extraordinary equitable relief that is rarely granted. And in this case, the evidence and the law clearly is not sufficient to enjoin the governor from enforcing his public health proclamations to keep Washingtonians safe and stop the spread, or at least slow the spread, of COVID-19. They simply cannot meet the high bar to show that they have a clear legal right to enjoin the governor's proclamations or that the harms that they have experienced outweigh the significant dangers to public health if an injunction were to go into effect.
Now, in the interests of full disclosure, NCW Life show host Carrie Kendata is one of the many plaintiffs in that case, which was dismissed yesterday. There's a lot to this story. We have an in-depth look at this story in quite some detail. If you go to our website, you can read up more at ncwlife.com. Now, even as that legal challenge went to court, the number of COVID-19 cases detected in Chelan and Douglas counties has now topped 500. In fact, 501 cases to be precise. That's the latest tabulations as of yesterday morning. 3 new cases in Chelan County and 6 identified in Douglas County were added to the tally yesterday. It's part of a continuing upward trend as the Wenatchee Valley remains in a modified phase 1 of Washington's Safe Start coronavirus recovery plan. 9 residents of the 2-county region have died from the virus, the most recent back on May 13th. Now, despite the rising local caseloads, there are currently no Chelan or Douglas County COVID-19 patients hospitalized with the virus. The uptick in positive cases in recent days has not put pressure on Central Washington Hospital in Wenatchee. Instead, the hospital is treating 9 patients from other counties, including 6 from Grant County, where there has been a recent spike in positive tests. There are also 2 patients from Okanogan County at Central Washington Hospital and 1 from hard-hit Yakima County. Confluence Health Communications Director Andrew Canning said yesterday that of the 9 COVID-19 patients at Central Washington Hospital, 5 are in the intensive care unit. 4 of the ICU patients are on ventilators. Well, all those do-it-yourself mask-making videos are going to come in handy starting tomorrow. Governor Jay Inslee, of course, announcing on Tuesday that facial coverings will be required in public throughout the state of Washington to help prevent the spread of COVID-19. It goes into effect tomorrow and requires facial coverings in an indoor public space or in an outdoor public space if you're not able to physically distance yourself from other people. Inslee said a troubling rise in COVID-19 cases in some areas of the state led to that decision. There are exemptions for children under the age of 5 and people with health issues or are hard of hearing.
So unfortunately, I have to share with you that even though we have been resourceful and committed, as we have reopened our economy, as we have shedded some of our social distancing, we are now experiencing a higher activity of our virus. Now, is this just a hypothetical concern? Unfortunately, it is not. I want to share with you how bad this is and could become in the state of Washington. In Yakima County, which is the epicenter for this virus in the state of Washington, the healthcare system, because of COVID-19 infections, is so stressed that there is no room at the hospital in Yakima County. Repeat, there are no rooms available to people for this treatment in Yakima County. That means that patients are having to be shipped by ambulance outside of Yakima County to Seattle and other places. And it is so challenging that now we are going to have to engage a different service to transport patients out of their home county to get treatment. There's no room in the hospitals. This is something that we saw in New York. It's something we saw in Italy. It's something we're seeing in Yakima County today. And we do not want to see that condition spread across the state of Washington. So today we are adopting an additional and new strategy regarding the use of facial coverings in the state of Washington. We've seen people do that already. In Yakima County, only about a third of people were wearing facial coverings a couple weeks ago, but just this last weekend, that's risen to about 60%. This is encouraging. It shows that we can adopt measures that can actually reduce the transmission rate of this virus. But we know that this issue is much bigger than Yakima County. So that is why today I'm joined by Secretary of Health John Weisman, who's signing a public health order mandating the use of facial coverings across the state of Washington. It will take effect this Friday, June 26th. As we know, willful violation of this order is tantamount to a misdemeanor. Now, as necessary economic activity increases and more people are out in their communities, it is imperative that we adopt further measures to protect us all. I think this is the way we need to look at this. We just cannot wish this virus to go away. We have to use tools that are available to us that we know that work.
Now, law enforcement agencies in north central Washington appear to have no interest in enforcing Governor Jay Inslee's order that all Washington residents wear face coverings in public places. A joint statement was issued from the North Central Washington Law Enforcement Leadership Group yesterday, and it said the issue is not a, quote, mandate for law enforcement response, unquote. Now, earlier yesterday, Grant County Sheriff Tom Jones said his office had larger priorities in ticketing or arresting somebody for not wearing a mask. Inslee issued the statewide mandatory face covering order after COVID-19 cases, of course, spiked in recent days in some counties, including Grant County. The Law Enforcement Leadership Group, by the way, is composed of the Chelan, Douglas, and Okanagan County Sheriffs and the police chiefs of Wenatchee and East Wenatchee. Wenatchee's Medical Service Center for Veterans expects to reopen on June 29th. That's less than 2 weeks after multiple employees there tested positive for coronavirus. The Veterans Affairs Community-Based Outpatient Clinic, it's the CBOC out there in Old Station. It shut down back on June 17th for thorough disinfection after the cases were discovered. In the meantime, walk-in and urgent care patients have received treatment through an on-site mobile medical unit that was dispatched from the VA Medical Center in Spokane. VA spokesman Brett Bowers says the agency has tracked down all of those veterans and other visitors who may have been inside the facility between the 8th of June, the 8th of May, 8th of June, and the 16th of June. The mobile medical unit continues to operate at the Wenatchee Clinic Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. In just a week, they've attended to more than 90 veteran patients. But again, the clinic itself will reopen on June 29th. There is non-COVID related news. On this Thursday, a Wenatchee man is accused of child molestation and child pornography is now in federal custody, and he's facing trial come August. Earlier in the month, 31-year-old Jose Antonio Mendoza was taken by federal marshals from the Chelan County jail, where he's been held since January, to the Spokane County lockup, where he awaits a hearing in U.S. District Court. Chelan County prosecutors initially charged Mendoza with 18 counts after Wenatchee police found multiple explicit images on his home devices, including videos that appeared to show him sexually abusing children. Federal prosecutors under U.S. Attorney William Hyslop took over the case, and on June 2nd, a grand jury indicted Mendoza on 3 charges of producing child pornography and 1 charge of receiving it. Each charge carries a sentence of 15 to 30 years if he's convicted. Law enforcement will be out in force on I-90 this weekend, focusing on illegal driving by motorcycle drivers. Under a program called It's a Fine Line, the patrols will be from Spokane to Snoqualmie Pass. The Washington State Patrol will be taking the lead with help from law enforcement agencies in Kittitas County, Grant County, Adams County, Lincoln County, and Spokane County. The State Patrol said more than half of all motorcycle crashes do not involve another vehicle. In a public service announcement, State Patrol Sergeant Darren Wright says most of those crashes are preventable.
Hi, my name is Sergeant Darren Wright. I'm with the Washington State Patrol. Motorcycles in Washington State represent only 3% of the registered vehicles in the state, but account for 20% of the fatalities throughout the year. We're seeing a lot of speed-related issues on these fatalities and injury collisions, excessive speed going into corners, inexperience of riders. Rider training is important for the safety of all riders. Knowing your motorcycle, knowing how to prepare and set up for curves, and knowing what speeds you can do safely within the speed limit are very important to make sure that you arrive safely. Most crashes are preventable. Please make the right choice. Drive slow, drive sober, arrive safely.
Shoppers have been watching closely the ongoing saga of JCPenney as they try to decide which stores remain open and which stores close during their bankruptcy. Turns out the OMAC location at the Wenatchee Shopping Center will close. They're going to shut down and liquidate starting on Friday, July 3rd. The stores in Wenatchee, the Wenatchee store at Valley North is going to remain open, but 149 other stores across the country haven't been so lucky. JCPenney, of course, filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy last month. And finally, we got some good news from the Antioch National Fish Hatchery. The very first tagged summer Chinook salmon of the year has made it back to the mouth of the Indiana River. The hatchery's tagging system detected the returning fish on Monday. So up the Columbia, then it took a hard left from the Columbia, and they're heading back up the Indiana to the area where it spawned. The Chinook doesn't have a very memorable name for such a valiant explorer, though. Under the tag system, he or she is known as Chinook salmon number 3DA.1A19AF17CE. There you go. We're going to name it Grant because it's Grant's birthday. Good to see the Chinook back. 26 minutes after the hour. I do not believe we have a preview of tonight's news with Jefferson Robbins. Jefferson's filling in for Grant Olson, who is on assignment this week. But rest assured, we will have a newscast for you tonight. It was a very busy day, as you might imagine, around the newsroom. But we'll be back at it again with more news at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. The evening news with Jefferson Robbins in the anchor chair and Eric Grandstrom handling both the weather forecast and your sports report. 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. And don't forget to get a hold of us. And you're good at that. You can drop us a line via Facebook Messenger. Go to our Facebook page. If you'll give us a thumbs up if you like us, we'd appreciate it. And then drop us a line via Facebook Messenger if you so desire. You can email us directly, news@ncwlife.com, news@ncwlife.com, or go to our website, ncwlife.com, click on the Contact Us icon, and fill out the form. 27 minutes after the hour. Sports is 1 minute away. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
At Harvest Valley Pest Control, we know you are committed to making your home and business a healthy and pest-free place. Hi, I'm David. Give us a call and we'll give you a firm price over the phone and schedule a time that works for you. We will do an in-depth 30-point healthy home or business inspection and craft a customized plan of action designed specifically for your pest issue. Give us a call or visit our website today.
Bring the whole family up to Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house in historic downtown Chelan. Applewood smoked brisket, street-style tacos, and our award-winning barbecue rubs and sauces. Our meals pair perfectly with our exciting lineup of craft ales, made right here in Chelan. We've got room for big groups, or give us a call for catering. So grab the kids and check out the fun at Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house located in the heart of Chelan.
Just ticked up a couple of degrees, 66 degrees, about mid-90s anyway for a high both today and tomorrow. Big change starts on late Friday afternoon into Friday evening as a cold front comes in. We're going to have breezy conditions and considerably cooler temperatures coming up this weekend. Let's talk about sports. Seahawks reportedly interested in wide receiver Antonio Brown. This is according to the NFL Network's Michael Silver. Both Seattle and Cleveland are in the market for Brown's talents. Now, while he was in Pittsburgh, he led the NFL in receptions, receiving yards, touchdown receptions, but his relationship with quarterback Ben Roethlisberger soured. And then he said, I want out of Pittsburgh. So Oakland picked him up. And then, well, one incident after another. He didn't practice in the preseason because he didn't like the way his helmet fit. Then he got frostbite. And then he started fussing and fighting and feuding with Mike Mayock, who is the general manager of the Raiders. And then he signed with New England. And after that, allegations surfaced that he sexually assaulted his former trainer. He denied those allegations. And in March, Brown pleaded no contest to charges from a January incident where he and his new trainer attacked a moving truck driver. He was given 2 years probation in court. He's expected to receive a suspension from the National Football League if he signs with anybody. Steve Rabel, the longtime radio voice of the Seahawks and, of course, a longtime news anchor at Cairo in Seattle, retiring this week. Of course, he was drafted as a wide receiver for the Seahawks in the expansion draft back in 1976. He transitioned to a career in broadcasting. He's been on the air at Cairo for 38 years, but tomorrow, Friday, will be his last day at Cairo. He talked with our very own Caitlin Heddersheet last September about making the transition from football to broadcasting.
I got very lucky. When I was playing, I got to know the play-by-play guy and one of the analysts really well during those years that I was here as a player. And I was one of those guys in the locker room that they could walk up and say, even after a loss, hey, do you have a quote? I'd give them something. And they started to come back to me as my career went on and said, hey, you might want to think about this business. And so after my 6th season with the team, I had had some injuries, and I had a couple opportunities come up at the TV and radio station where I've been for the entire 38 years, and that's how it happened. Well, I've been lucky here in Seattle to be able to have a news background and broadcast news 5 shows a day, 5 days a week for 30 plus years. But to also get to do football, which is really my first love. That's what got me out here in the first place, being drafted with the Seahawks, and then becoming part of the organization as a broadcaster after my playing days were over. But I think what I do on the news every day, being on TV every day, I think it helps in just getting the face and the name out there. But I think people also have a sense now, after all these years, that they sort of trust what I tell them. That I'll be honest with them on a radio broadcast for the Seahawks, just as I'll be honest with them on a newscast every night, and try to give them the best information in the most understandable and concise way I can. And like I say, that holds true for both football and for the news.
Rabel's last day at Cairo is tomorrow, but you can watch a 30-minute special on his career. It'll air tonight at 7 o'clock, I'm assuming on Cairo. He says he and his wife Sharon are going to do a little traveling once the pandemic passes, but he's still going to be the play-by-play guy for Seahawks radio broadcasts until he says, and I'm quoting now, "They carry me out of here," end quote. The first real effect on the upcoming NFL season is being felt because of the pandemic. ESPN is reporting that sources have said that the Hall of Fame game in Canton, Ohio between the Cowboys and the Steelers has been canceled, and the enshrinement ceremony has been postponed for the time being. Our very own Eric Granstrom spoke with the Seahawks yesterday, and he was told no travel arrangements have been made for the upcoming season. In addition, in the preseason, if it occurs, in fact, it may not include fans in the stands, and the broadcast team, the radio broadcast team, will likely do the games remotely. So we'll keep a close eye on that. Let's do a little fishing, sockeye fishing. Expected to make a strong return this summer, but anglers who may have to wait until later in July to fish them in the upper Columbia River. The Department of Fish and Wildlife closed the Columbia River to sockeye fishing last night. From the mouth to just below the Tri-Cities, they want to save steelhead fish destined for the Snake River. Fishing for the popular table fare remains open. I love a good salmon. So you can still fish for salmon from just above the Tri-Cities to Priest Rapids Dam. Our good friend, the fishing magician, Dave Graybill, predicts our stretch of the Columbia right here in north central Washington will open a little bit later on in July, and he shows us a few hot spots.
Double on sockeye. One's in the boat. Roscoe ran up from the bow and put the hook in the other one. Fast action here for sockeye. Wanapum Dam. Woo-hoo! God. Hey! Yep. See that? Now that's the way you do it. Easy peasy.
And just shake the hooks fall out just like that.
Yep.
Hope one of those wasn't the Chinook salmon we just named after Grant. By the way, in addition to the popular spots that you just saw, Dave says could even be a summer fishery on Lake Wenatchee sometime this summer if the return numbers are strong, and that is sports at 34 minutes after the hour. I had 5 obscure holidays to choose from today. Today is National Strawberry Parfait Day. Today is National Leon Day. Hi to all you Leons out there. National Handshake Day. That's fallen out of favor with the pandemic going on. No, it's National Catfish Day. Yeah. Happy National Catfish Day. There's actually National Catfish Day by presidential proclamation. Proclamation 5672 issued by President Ronald Reagan on June 25th, 1987, proclaiming June 25th National Catfish Day. It was to encourage people to eat catfish farmed in the Mississippi Delta, because it's a big business down there, farming and raising catfish. I have fun facts about catfish. One thing, catfish don't have scales. They have skin. just like we do. It's kind of creepy. Most catfish swallow their food whole. They just whoop, right down. Humans have 7,000 taste buds. Catfish have 27,000 taste buds. Why, I don't know. Catfish in the wild, in some parts of this planet, can live over 100 years. That's a long time. And most catfish, not all, but most catfish are nocturnal. They sleep during the day and they eat at night. Not a big fan of catfish. It's an ugly fish. But it's National Catfish Day, so there you go. I'm a big fan of Catfish Hunter. I miss him. 36 minutes after the hour today in history. Happy birthday, Old Dominion, Virginia. Joined the Union as the 10th state on this date back in 1788, 232 years ago. Of course, Virginia, like Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, and Kentucky, don't consider themselves states. They are commonwealths. Quit texting me, Tucker. I don't know where his fire extinguisher is. Virginia has, I'm a music guy, Virginia has 3 state songs. The traditional state song is Our Great Virginia. The popular state song for Virginia is Sweet Virginia Breeze. I listened to that on YouTube the other day. It ain't bad. The state song Emeritus is Carry Me Back to Old Virginia. I got fun facts about Virginia. Virginia used to be twice as large as it is now. Almost all of Kentucky and all of West Virginia used to be in Virginia. Governors in the state of Virginia are prohibited from serving consecutive terms. You can serve more than one term, you just can't serve them in a row. Virginia is known as the Silicon Valley of the East. This is an amazing statistic. Half of the world's internet traffic goes through data centers and servers in Loudoun County, Virginia. 8 U.S. presidents were from Virginia, but none since Woodrow Wilson, so been over 100 years there. About a quarter of Virginia's workforce are employees of the United States federal government. With a population of 8.5 million, Virginia is the largest state of the Union that has no professional sports teams. And over half the battles in the Civil War, remember the capital of the Confederacy was Richmond, Virginia, so not surprisingly, over half of the battles fought in the Civil War were fought in the state of Virginia, which is 232 years old today. Keep a close eye on the Korean Peninsula today. This is the 70th anniversary of the Korean War. The Korean War broke out on June 25th, 1950, when North Korean troops invaded South Korea. They are still technically at war. Remember, when the Korea War ended, they signed an armistice, not a peace treaty. So for 70 years, technically speaking, North Korea and South Korea have been at war, and it started 70 years ago today, June 25th, 1950. And finally, an amazing baseball statistic happened 31 years ago today, June 25th, 1989. How a defense for any baseball team can go through a complete 9-inning game without any assists is stunning, but it actually happened. The Mets beat the Philadelphia Phillies on the state 5-1. How did they get through an entire game, one team, without a single assist? Well, they struck out 13 Philadelphia Phillies. They had 13 flyouts or pop-outs and 2 ground balls to first base, where the first baseman simply had to field it and step on the bag. No assists. Happened 31 years ago today. Incredible stuff. Let's do some birthdays. Oh, you're so vain. Carly Simon. We love Carly Simon. Great songwriter. She wrote her own hits. Great piano player. The great Carly Simon is 75 years old today. That's the way I always heard it should be. Anticipation, Loving You is the Right Thing to Do. And of course, her #1 hit, You're So Vain, featuring backing vocals from Mick Jagger. And of course, in an interview a few years ago, Carly Simon said, yeah, You're So Vain is kind of about Warren Beatty. Kind of. Happy 75th birthday, Carly Simon. The 99th Associate Justice on the United States Supreme Court, Sonia Sotomayor, is 66 years old today. Regardless of what you think of her legal opinions, she will always be a hero to me because back in March of 1995, she issued the preliminary injunction against the owners of Major League Baseball, saying the owners were not negotiating fairly or in good faith. The owners want to unilaterally implement the collective bargaining agreement using replacement players, and Sonia Sotomayor said, nope, can't do that. And with that, The baseball strike ended after 232 days, and we went back to playing baseball because of her, Sonia Sotomayor. And happy birthday to Grant Olson. Here's Grant. He's holding a foul ball because Grant's a foul ball. Grant and his twin brother, I might add, celebrate birthdays today. I'm not going to tell you how old Grant is because, quite frankly, I forgot. We're going to take a break. When we come back, a brand new, never-before-seen Mike Magnotti opinion. It's coming your way. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
What is it about Tipsy Canyon Winery that keeps people coming back? Is it the magnificent view from the hillside tasting room? Is it the exceptional but affordable wines? Or is it just the fact that you feel right at home from the minute you walk through the door? Actually, it's all this and more. Experience the Tipsy Canyon Winery located just outside of Manson. Your new home away from home.
It's estimated that 1/3 of Americans do not have a financial plan. At D.A. Davidson, their advisors are working to change that because they understand the importance of planning for the future. At D.A. Davidson, they believe in partnering together to build a strategy tailored to your needs. They spend the time and have the knowledge to help keep your financial future on track. Let D.A. Davidson Financial Advisors of Wenatchee put the strength of advice to work for you.
My name is Anaisa Lemus, and I teach at John Newberry Elementary. I had a tooth in the front that was just always causing me problems. It was just happening so regularly. I went to go get a root canal done, and the root canal didn't help a whole lot because when it came back, both of my parents went to Dr. Divis's office. They really recommended him because he had done such a great job on their teeth. I went and really have had a really pleasant experience with him. He just made me feel really at ease with everything. He was really confident with what he was doing. He said, this is one of his favorite parts of his job, which really made it easier for me because, when you're really passionate about something, they're going to do a good job. As a teacher, my students, I'll tell them randomly sometimes, oh yeah, with my fake tooth, they're always so shocked. Like, what? It looks like your real tooth. And I'm really happy with the results now.
This is Dr. John Divis. Please call us today.
Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning has been proudly serving the Wenatchee Valley for over 35 years. And just as Dick's has been there for you, they have also been an essential part of our community, supporting local youth sports all year long and your Wenatchee Wild.
Thanks for your support. Thanks, Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, for all your support.
Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, your local, independent, trained comfort specialist. Call 884-6444 today.
Contractors, furniture makers, and weekend do-it-yourselfers around North Central Washington will tell you that Lombard's Hardwood Supply is the place to get what you need. Lombard's full millwork shop can handle jobs large or small. Lombard's has a full line of interior and exterior doors available, as well as custom barn doors. From alderwood to zebrawood and everything in between, it's Lombard's Hardwood Supply on School Street in Sunny Slope. Like us on Facebook and check out our monthly special.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody's entitled to my opinion. Now, the hypocrisy of the Democrats regarding the accusation of sexual abuse leveled against Joe Biden is pretty disturbing. Now, not only because they're not doing anything about it, but because of their display of one of the diabolical dynamics of sexual assault. It's this. If the person being accused is someone you care about as a family member or a political candidate who you like, you're much less likely to properly consider the legitimacy of the accusations. The Democrats didn't want Kavanaugh named to the Supreme Court, so they made a big stink about him. Oh, rightfully so, I think. They want Joe Biden elected, so they're not doing the same thing now. And people tell me that we shouldn't make these things political. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
How Coming home should never be a chore. Let Merry Maids of Wenatchee customize all your cleaning needs. Weekly, bi-weekly, special occasion. Do you have a vacation home that needs cleaning? We clean them too. Locally owned and operated, let Merry Maids do the cleaning while you focus on your family and friends. Merry Maids has special offers to fit your budget. Request your free cleaning estimate today. 509-663-1710.
The response that I saw from Works reminded me about what a great company this has always been.
While some businesses have probably just tried to hunker down and survive, Blair and the team at Works have said this is an opportunity to become even better, to give more value to our members. I think it's amazing.
Blair's attitude is safety first.
I just really appreciated feeling like I wasn't forgotten about.
Pass along a smile today. Buy a box of chocolates for a friend or for yourself from Chocolat. Order online and pick up locally, or Chocolat ships almost anywhere. For your cheesy cravings, the Cheesemonger shop is open. Call ahead, stop in, or order online and they will ship. Everyone say Cheesemonger shop. Sage Mountain Natural Foods and Deli in Leavenworth is open for all your nutritional needs, supplements, bulk foods, produce, and more. Call now for more information and hours of operation.
The world around us is constantly changing. Major employers in north central Washington have expressed a need for capable, qualified engineering technologists who can think critically and solve problems. And at Wenatchee Valley College, we listened. We are pleased to offer a Bachelor of Applied Science Engineering Technology degree to provide you with a world of new opportunities. Your time is now. The future is waiting for you.
Back again, 67 degrees. If you're just getting joining here on Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on this Thursday, I am Dan Kuntz. We're going to be mid-90s today with very little wind. We had that wind yesterday. A little concerned about a grass fire or two popping up. Didn't happen, thank goodness. Keep your fingers crossed there. But we're still not out of this fire danger risk. We have an elevated fire risk, especially this weekend. We're going to have breezy conditions, and when you combine that with the hot and dry weather we've had, and the winds, it's been drying out the grasses and the sage and the brush. We're going to give you complete weather forecast details in just a couple of minutes, but we're still in for a very warm day today and a very warm day tomorrow before the big change happens over the weekend. And we want to start out with a recap of the news. As you know by now, in Chelan County Superior Court, Judge Kristen Ferreira yesterday afternoon ruling against the plaintiffs in that lawsuit to overturn the state of emergency. That was the one imposed by Governor Jay Inslee to battle the COVID-19 pandemic. 46 plaintiffs, including restaurant owners, elected officials, pastors, political operatives, said the governor has no authority to keep the state under strict public health orders. But Ferreira refused to issue a temporary restraining order that would have terminated the governor's orders. That also would have put full responsibility for the coronavirus response in our area on local health officials. And at one point, Judge Ferreira told plaintiff's attorney Joel Ard it's not clear that local officials could handle the pandemic by themselves.
The State Department of Health approves each and every one of these plans. They've worked with the local health departments for 14 years. These plans were approved, some of them as recently as last fall. I'm not sure when the last time Chelan Douglas County's was, but county health plans were approved as recently as November of 2019. So all of a sudden the governor has said, we've spent years doing this. My own Department of Health has reviewed and approved these plans routinely over the last 8 years, but come the event, wow, we're not actually going to follow that law and follow those plans.
That's not my question, though. My question is, can they actually do it? And from the record, it appears that the health district, at least people who, some of the officers of the health district don't think they can. And that's my concern. Is you're asking me to impose a restraining order lifting the restrictions, which I still don't understand what it is that, if I were to lift those restrictions today, what would that look like? Would we be tomorrow, everything's opened back up like there's no COVID? Or will it, because there aren't restrictions that are in place, or the health district has even said will be in place if the court lifts this. So if the court lifted the restrictions and the health district came in, can they even implement this plan? I mean, realistically, I know you say that the state thought they could, but realistically today, I don't see anything in the record that the health district actually thinks they can implement anything in this plan. And we're talking about public education, surveillance, community containment measures, medication and vaccine management. There's a lot in here. I don't know how many employees the health district has, but it seems to the court, based on the information that's in the record, that the health district has been struggling with the resources they have right now, even with the assistance of the state in addressing the pandemic.
Deputy Attorney General Zachary Peakless-Jones replied that the plaintiffs had no grounds to challenge the governor's emergency powers, even though restraints on businesses and gathering places may have, in fact, affected their livelihoods.
So for plaintiffs in this case, the reopening process is not going quickly enough. And economic challenges they face and the fears of the future for their businesses and their families, those are real. And nothing that we say here today should ever be taken to undercut or undersell the reality of those costs. But what they're seeking here today, Your Honor, is a temporary restraining order, a form of extraordinary equitable relief that is rarely granted. And in this case, the evidence and the law clearly is not sufficient to enjoin the governor from enforcing his public health proclamations to keep Washingtonians safe and stop the spread, or at least slow the spread, of COVID-19. They simply cannot meet the high bar to show that they have a clear legal right to enjoin the governor's proclamations, or that the harms that they have experienced outweigh the significant dangers to public health if an injunction were to go into effect.
Now, in the interests of full disclosure, NCW Life show host Carrie Kendata was one of the many plaintiffs in that case. There is a lot to this story. We have a more in-depth look at this story as written by our own Jefferson Robbins, and you can look at it by going to our website. It's got a lot of information there, ncwlife.com. Well, even as that legal challenge went to court yesterday, the COVID-19 cases detected in Chelan and Douglas counties have now topped 500. In fact, 501 is the exact number. The two counties combined, that's the tabulation as of yesterday morning. 3 new cases in Chelan County and 6 identified in Douglas County were added to that tally yesterday as part of that continuing upward trend as the Wenatchee Valley remains in a modified phase 1 of Washington's state Safe Start Coronavirus Recovery Plan. 9 residents of the 2-county region have died from the virus, the most recent one on May 13th. Now, despite the rising local caseloads, there are currently no Chelan or Douglas County COVID-19 patients hospitalized with the virus. The uptick in positive cases in recent days has not put pressure on Central Washington Hospital in Wenatchee. Instead, the hospital is actually treating 9 patients from other counties, including 6 from Grant County. There's been a recent spike, of course, in positive tests in Grant County. There are also 2 patients from Okanagan County at Central and 1 from hard-hit Yakima County. Now, Confluence Health Communications Director Andrew Canning said yesterday that of the 9 COVID-19 patients at the hospital, 5 are in the intensive care unit and 4 of the ICU patients are on ventilators. And that's a quick look at what is making headlines. Again, there's a lot more news for you to peruse if you so desire by going to our website at ncwlife.com. We're going to take a quick break and take one more look at that all-important weekend weather forecast. It's coming up. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel. JDSA Law is a proud sponsor of these local sports broadcasts. They've been serving North Central and Eastern Washington since 1946. For over 70 years, their team of dedicated professionals has delivered quality, innovative legal services. JDSA Law partners with you to provide the finest legal advice and support as you navigate your personal and business challenges, risks, and accomplishments. At JDSA Law, they salute our local athletes and wish them well on another excellent season of competition.
No calories, no sweeteners, all smiles. Bubbly, sparkling water. Crack a smile.
Is search engine optimization right for my business? Maybe. Studies show the first and second search results get 50% of all the clicks. But you have to fight national chains to get there. If the user has to scroll down to find you, tough luck. You could hide a dead body on page 2 and the whole zombie apocalypse on page 3. Or you could spend less and get an ad in the Impact Big Print phone book, giving local businesses a chance to shine.
Impact Directories. Bigger print, better book.
Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center serves Chelan and Douglas counties by providing mediation services and community education. Mediation is an effective and efficient way to provide a written resolution to issues and can be a first step to reducing costly litigation. Mediation is used to settle workplace, business, family, neighbor, parenting, divorce, housing disputes, and more. Call 509-888-0957 or go online to wvdrc.org for more information.
It's good to see you again here. We're live in Studio 17 here in downtown Wenatchee. Let's take a look at that forecast one more time. And once again, we're going to start out with some very important information from the National Weather Service. We are looking, without question, of an elevated fire risk. It's the kind of thing that we're used to around here. But of course, for most of this week, well, all of this week, it's been sunny. It's been hot. We've had to deal with breezy conditions. The breezy conditions have dried out the grasses and the sage and the brush. So we go through a period of warm temperatures, very little relative humidity, and then boom, a cold front, which is going to push across the region beginning late Friday afternoon into Friday night, going right into Saturday morning, means, well, we could get some fire. If any fires get going, they could really take off. I mean, really get going. That's the combination we don't want. Breezy winds, dry conditions, so any kind of grass fire could get going. And then we have a big change. It's going to be cooler. A rather significant cool weather system is going to linger over the region this weekend. Still going to be breezy. Could even see some showers. You're going to be amazed at the dramatic temperature change that we're going to see over the weekend and into the early part of next week when we get to the in-depth forecast from Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. And then big weather changes expected starting on Sunday. Well, Saturday a little bit, really Sunday, and Monday, and into Tuesday a little bit. There is an unusually strong and deep low pressure system that's going to drop in the region. It's going to happen starting Saturday night and really into Sunday, and it's going to make it feel a lot like the middle of May instead of late June. You're going to be amazed at the temperature drop. In fact, let's go ahead and roll that for you from Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, who gives your home a hug. Again, very sunny, very warm today. For the record, we hit 90 yesterday, which was exactly what they were predicting. The National Weather Service. 90 was our high on Wednesday, and it was very mild. The overnight low last night was 68. Right now, outside the Wenatchee Valley, we are at 68 degrees, so quite a bit of sunshine today. Very little wind, just a nice light breeze, about 3 to 6 miles an hour, but it's going to be an air conditioning day with a high of about 95. 65 for the overnight low tonight. Again, very little wind, just sunny and hot. It's a flat ridge of high pressure. It's going to hang around almost all day Friday until we get late in the afternoon on Friday. Again, right around 95, 96 degrees tomorrow afternoon. And then late in the afternoon, we're talking, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the evening, right around there. That's when this cold front is going to start rolling in. And we'll start clouding up a little bit on Friday night. It's still going to be mild, 64 for the overnight low, but the winds will be picking up in intensity Friday afternoon into Friday night. A northwest wind about 10 to 14 miles an hour. So look at the difference in the afternoon high temperature from Friday tomorrow. 96 for the afternoon high tomorrow, only 81 on Saturday afternoon. So we're still going to have sunshine. The big story is Saturday, and we talked about this. It's going to be breezy on Saturday. A west wind about 6 to 14 miles an hour, where you could see gusts as high as 25, 26, 30 miles an hour in some locations. The Wenatchee area, the Waterville Plateau, the Columbia Basin could see windy conditions, windier even than that 23 or 24 mile an hour winds expected in the forecast on Saturday. Saturday night, clear, breezy, 56 for the overnight low, and then the temperatures continue to drop as this unusually deep low pressure system drops into the region. Only 75, so huge temperature change, almost 20 degree temperature change in just a matter of about 48 to to 72 hours. On Sunday, we'll have quite a bit of cloud cover, maybe even a raindrop or two, and again, a high of only 75, slightly warmer on Monday. Monday, we'll have a little bit more sunshine. Still can't rule out some rain, and unfortunately, we also can't rule out the possibility of a thunderstorm. That is it for us. Have yourself a great Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.